Well, we've given a right of reply to the KZN MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Reverend Thulasizwe Buthelezi, who joins us now virtually. But before we dive deep into that conversation, let's now hear from the Speaker of the ANC-led Umkhanyakude District Municipality, Solomon Mkhombe, whom I spoke to last night on this very program about why he's challenging the constitutionality of, of what he says, the provincial government's decision to again place the municipality under administration. Let's take a listen.
Basically, at issue here, which is as a result of the furor, is the flagrant flaw application of the intervention. This points to the direction there is no capacity within the corporate department as led by Honorable Reverend Buthelezi. His officials are failing to understand that when you invoke Section 139(1)(b), there is a procedure that has to be followed. What should have happened in our case? There are a number of interventions which have been followed. Number one, there is Section 154, which talks about support and strengthening the municipality. If that brings no results, the second option would be Section 139(1)(a), which basically talk to directives by the province, which should be given to the municipality. Mm-hmm. Basically, we should have been supported first before they jump into Section 139. So we can't say that we have approached the courts for relief, because the MEC has greatly and grossly undermined our constitutional rights as an elected structure.
All right, the MEC is now standing by, is on the line to respond to some of these issues. MEC, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the late edition.
Thank you very much, sir, and to all the viewers of SABC.
Now, we've just heard the Speaker, Solomon Mkhombe, whom I spoke to last night, having labelled your decision as unconstitutional and unprocedural, arguing that it undermines elected councillors. So can you outline the legal and procedural basis upon which this intervention rests?
Well, we have a duty, sir, of oversight over municipalities. In instances where municipalities fail to execute their responsibilities of good governance and service delivery, the provincial government, in terms of Section 139 of the Constitution, has a responsibility to act. And in that regard, the Provincial Executive Council of the KZN government then took a decision to introduce an administrator to 3 district municipalities, which is Umkhanyakude, Umzinyathi, and Uthukela, which have been under administration for quite some time, but are still battling with the issues of good governance and reducing irregular and fruitless expenditure. Umkhanyakude has irregular, unauthorized, fruitless and wasteful expenditure of 3.4 billion rand, which is something which is unprecedented. They have not been able to deal with that. There is a litany of allegations. You know, for example, Mr. P.P. Spear, who is the recruitment and labor manager, has made allegations that 22 employees were employed without any recruitment process. And those 22 employees are all former ANC ward candidates who failed to be elected as councillors. So there is a myriad of gross mismanagement, fraud and maladministration that has then necessitated for us as COGTA to introduce an administrator to bring stability to that municipality.
Well, the Speaker says you do not have the capacity to place Umkhanyakude District Municipality under administration, citing some of the statutory or the constitutional provisions that he claims you violated by doing so. But was there any prior consultation with the Municipal Council before announcing this administration decision? And if so, what is their response?
It's very strange, sir, because Umkhanyakude was under administration long before I became an MEC for COGTA. Numerous ANC MECs before me grappled with the same problems with which we are faced now. And therefore, we are continuing to offer that support. We have done an assessment on the ground, and our assessment shows that the Section 139 intervention is sorely needed in Umkhanyakude. People in Umkhanyakude have no water. We as COGTA have a project called Nondabuya Water Project, where 153 million rand was spent of taxpayers' money given to Umkhanyakude district. There is not a drop of water to show for that money. Now we have a responsibility to taxpayers. We have a responsibility to the communities of Umkhanyakude to hold the municipality to account. Now the Speaker and his cronies do not want to be held to account, and that is why now they are throwing their toys out of the court. They are barricading the municipality. Up until today, the municipality is still closed on the instructions of the Speaker, and because they are running away with gross corruption, the whole procurement unit led by the municipal manager and the chief financial officer are now operating outside of a B&B called Beweda Nguni B&B in Umkhuze, because they do not want the files to be discovered.
In fact, MEC, I asked the Speaker last night, the fact that when you got to the municipality to place it under administration on Monday, the gates were locked and the entire premises were barricaded by water tankers. And apparently you said that it was an instruction from him. He rubbishes all that. He's saying that, that is driven, it's driven by underhanded political motives and the whole, the whole process of placing it under administration. In fact, let's just listen to this clip.
Is empirical evidence that we have resolved all the triggers. When you go to Section 152 of the Constitution, there are almost five key performance areas. We can give you convincing evidence that we have dealt with almost all of them. Of course, revenue is work in progress, like in any other normal municipality. The issues of irregular expenditure has been reduced from 11 billion, or rather, 6 billion to 1.8 billion. But what they are saying, I think, is motivated by political expediency. The MEC is disguising his political ambitions behind pursuing service issues, good governance. There are a lot of municipalities which are led by IFP, which are knee-deep in quagmire, and he should be using his time and resources to try to uplift the likes of Jozini, who are bankrupt, the likes of Mzinyati, the likes of Utugela, the likes of Umkhanyakude, where Brads killed themselves because of the squabbles around money changing hands. There are a lot of issues which I think requires attention from IFP-led municipality. This thing is motivated greatly by the upcoming 2026 local government election.
All right, MEC, what's your response to this?
It's very ironic coming from Mkhombe, who is the Speaker, because the leadership in Umkhanyakude is an illegitimate leadership. It's not an elected leadership. And Mr. Mkhombe knows that the people of Umkhanyakude did not elect the ANC to lead Umkhanyakude. So he's the last one to speak about an elected leadership, because he is there not through the will of the people, but through manipulation. Mr. Mkhombe himself on Monday was there himself, blocking me at the gate. He was there. I've got proof of that. I saw him myself. He was there. But be that as it may, we will not be intimidated by the antics of the ANC in Umkhanyakude, who do not want to be held accountable. We will do our work as mandated by the Constitution, and we will ensure that the taxpayers' money is fully accounted for.
But then, MEC, how do you ensure that your department's interventions remain objective and rooted purely in governance failures rather than just local political dynamics?
Well, it's precisely why we are at Umkhanyakude, is because of governance failures. In fact, there's a paralysis, absolute paralysis of good governance in Umkhanyakude. The procurement system has totally collapsed.
Okay.
And we're not only intervening in ANC municipalities, we have intervened in Utukela, is governed by the IFP. We have intervened in Umzinyathi under Section 139, is governed by the IFP. We have intervened in Endumeni, is governed by the IFP. So it's not true that it's only ANC municipalities that are being targeted. But because the ANC for 20 years never had scrutiny over their affairs,
all right,
they feel now that they're entitled not to be monitored.
MEC, lovely chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much.
All right, we've just given a right of reply to the KZN MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Reverend Thulasizwe Buthelezi, who joined us, to talk about, some of the claims that have been made by the Speaker of Umkhanyakude Municipality last night, saying that, the reasons, or rather the decision to place the municipality under administration is politically motivated.